Hey folks, I'm Red Monster SC, and in this video, we're going to cover how to locate mineable materials on planet surfaces or in asteroid belts, and what all those numbers mean when you're scanning mineable rocks. So stick around to learn how to boost your surveying game in Star Citizen. I've broken the video timeline up into chapters, so check the description for specific timestamps or hover over the progress bar to skip ahead. So let's get started. If you plan on mining with the multi-tool or the GreyCat rock, you're going to be mining gemstones, hadanite, averite, and dolomite. These gemstone deposits appear on almost every planet surface in-game, and usually spawn in clusters with multiple rocks grouped together. There are two sizes of rocks these deposits appear in, those near 0.1 mass and those around 0.8 mass. The GreyCat multi-tool can only break the smaller size deposits, while the GreyCat rock can break either. The rock's mass also determines the distance that they can be detected on radar scans. The larger gemstone deposits only start to appear when you're within about 1,200 meters of them, which makes them fairly difficult to locate. And the smaller, hand-mineable rocks have an even shorter detection range, making them almost impossible to find on planet surfaces. As a helpful tip, the smaller-sized gemstone deposits will also spawn in cave systems, with dozens of hand-mineable deposits in a single cave. Some caves will be located near quantum travel markers, like the closed Kudre ore mine on Daymar, or the HDMO Calthrop mine on Hurston. Or you can also find and accept a cave mission in your mission manager in the Mobiglass apps to get a mission marker highlighting the location for those difficult to find caves. If you're going to mine ores in the Prospector or Mole, you can try and do surface mining at any of the planets or moons, or head out into deep space in the Air Halo or any of the Lagrange points. If you choose to mine on the planet's surface or at any of the Lagrange points, keep in mind that you may encounter other players whose behavior can be unpredictable. Try not to mine too close to space stations, outposts, or other points of interest, because nothing ruins a mining session like being pirated or griefed. The Air Halo is a much different story. There's so much area available that you're highly unlikely to run into another player on accident. The downside here is that there aren't any points of interest in the Air Halo, so the only way to get there is to manually drop out of quantum travel between two locations. When you've located a mineable deposit, there are a lot of details you can gather just from scanning it. Let's dive into those numbers to help you understand what each of them means. The rock type is a nominal categorization of different possible combinations of resources. Asteroids are identified as either C, E, M, P, Q, or S-type based on their composition, and surface deposits are given more recognizable categories such as shale, obsidian, gneiss, igneous, or granite. Since the type is the first detailed information revealed, it could tell you that a particular deposit can be skipped or that it's exactly what you're looking for. The mass is directly correlated to the size of the rock, where more massive rocks need more energy to fracture. You can estimate the size in SCU of a rock by dividing its mass by 50. So a fragment with a mass of 250 will yield around 5 SCU of raw materials after extraction. The instability signifies how volatile a rock's charge level will respond to the power you're putting into it. Instability is presented on a scale of 0 to 10. Under a constant laser intensity level, rocks with a high instability could have their charge rates fluctuate wildly, where rocks with a low instability will have a direct and consistent response to increases or decreases in laser intensity. Pure Quantanium has an instability of 10, which is one of the few reasons why Quantanium mining is so difficult. Resistance signifies the rock's ability to resist the mining laser's input energy. Rocks with lower resistance will require less power to break compared to other rocks of the same mass, and similar-sized rocks with higher resistance will require more laser power. The actual amount of power required to fracture a rock is dependent on both the mass and the resistance of that rock. And finally, the composition is the most important and also the most straightforward to understand. The composition shows the percentage of each material in the rock, including our refinable ores and inert material. Like and subscribe now if you're enjoying this video, and leave a comment if you notice anything that isn't clear or might have changed in future versions. Now let's get into surface scanning. I like to start off by navigating to either the OM1 or OM2 orbital markers, since these mark the northern and southern poles of the planetary bodies. Looking down towards the planet, you'll be able to see both the daylight and night sides. If you're at the OM1 marker, the right side of the daylight face will be in sunrise, while the left side will be in sunset. These directions are reversed if you're coming from OM2. By heading towards the part of the planet that's currently in sunrise, you'll have the longest amount of daylight in which to mine. As you approach the planet or moon's surface, activate scanning mode by pressing the V key, and then sending out a ping using your left click. If there are any signatures nearby, like a mineable deposit or another ship, each signature will show up as a dispersed cloud near the location of the object and eventually resolve into a single signature, or in some cases, multiple signature if there's a cluster of mineable rocks. As that signature resolves, you'll see one of two icons for mineable resources, a rock icon for ores, and a diamond icon for gemstones. The range at which you can detect a deposit is affected by how large the deposit is, meaning that the small gemstone deposits can only be detected when you're within a few hundred meters of them, while large ore deposits can be detected at around 10 kilometers. Once you've found a deposit, you could scan it to identify the gemstone type or the composition of the ore deposit. To do this, make sure you're in scanning mode, then hold right click to activate the scanner and you'll see the detailed information start to appear. You don't need to be in a mining vehicle to see this information, so any ship can perform a scan to identify a rock's composition. Once you've had a look at the composition of the rock, you can decide whether it's worth the effort to process or not. Also be aware that mineable deposits on steep hillsides or near ledges may be more difficult to mine, as the fragments may end up tumbling down the hill and you'll have to go chasing after them. For ore mining, because the rock fragments will have different compositions after fracturing the parent rock, it's possible that your desired materials could be concentrated in a few fragments, which is considered a good break, or they could be dispersed in low percentages across multiple fragments, which is considered a bad break. For this reason, ore deposits with even a 10% concentration of a desired material could still be useful, although I normally search for a minimum of 25% since it's the most time efficient. Let's move away from the planet's surface to start finding mineable asteroids. You can either navigate to the yellow asteroid belt around Crusader's moon Yella, quantum travel to any of the Lagrange points with asteroid fields, or travel to the Aran Halo, an asteroid belt that sits between the orbits of Crusader and ArcCorp, orbiting Stanton's star. Navigating to a Lagrange point is relatively simple, since there are points of interest marked on the star map that you can quantum travel directly to. Navigating to the yellow asteroid belt is also relatively straightforward, since the orbital markers around the equator of Yella are all near the belt, as well as the quantum travel marker for Grimhex. Simply quantum travel to one of these markers, and then give yourself a bit of space to avoid running into other players. Because of the ease of access and relatively small search area, you may want to consider having some security on call in case you get into trouble. Miners in the yellow asteroid belt, or those working too closely to a Lagrange point station, can be easy targets for in-game piracy. Navigating to the Aran Halo is a bit more tricky. You're going to need to pick a quantum travel route between 2 points of interest that passes over the belt. Begin quantum traveling, and then drop out of quantum travel at the prescribed distance in order to land inside the belt. The actual orbit of the Aran Halo is around 15% outside of the orbit of Crusader towards ArcCorp, while the current star map shows it closer to 40% outside Crusader's orbit. I've linked to a PDF file in the description below that will give you the routes and distances to successfully drop into the Aran Halo from any of the refinery stations. If the location you drop at seems too sparse or too densely packed with asteroids, you can jump 100,000 kilometers in either direction and should see a noticeable difference in asteroid density. When searching for mineable ore in an asteroid field like the Aran Halo, the yellow asteroid belt, or a Lagrange point, the same scanning concepts apply as with surface scanning, but now you're going to be searching in a three-dimensional space instead of a mostly two-dimensional surface. It's easy to get yourself turned around and accidentally double back on rocks you've already scanned and decided to ignore. If you find this happening, pick a point of interest from the star map and set it as your quantum travel destination. That indicator will now appear on your HUD, and you can use it to orient yourself, always keeping the indicator in your forward field of view. If you're in the Aran Halo, you can use your nearest refinery as the destination, or just point your ship away from the star and head outwards. And there you have it, everything you need to know in order to locate mineable resources in Star Citizen. Next up, we're going to walk you through the fundamental skills needed to successfully fracture rocks before taking a deep dive into each piece of mining equipment. If you've got questions or comments, leave them in the comment section below and check the pinned comment on this video for any corrections or additional details. You can connect with me on Twitch, YouTube, Twitter, and Discord by following the links in the description. And last of all, like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video, because otherwise I'm just talking to myself on the internet about space stuff.